I wanted to talk about it on here because I have one right in front of me. And we're also going to be dropping 10 millimeter mini double diffused in clear and colored, and micros in clear and colored. And I'm trying to have some honey jars there. Fuck, that reminds me. And this is perfect because only those that have made it this far will probably hear about this. I don't have it on the table. But today's Sunday that this drops, and I'm going to give away a honey jar recycler. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 55 of the podcast. Awesome, 55. That's fucking incredible. Really appreciate all you folks that have been supporting us over the last year or so and watching these episodes. And man, last week, all the feedback and the comments and everything, I really appreciate you guys. You do not know how much I needed that. It was a really awesome little gift for all you folks just reaching out and giving your positive feedback and just telling me like when you watch the podcast, how you watch it on your way to work, or like you have a long commute to this place. It made me feel so good because I can relate so much because I'm one of those people that watch podcasts on my commutes or when I'm working all day, and it's like kind of how I connect and like get that little dose of human conversation that I don't normally get, especially during a time where people have to be socially distanced and stuff. So I really appreciated that. It was awesome. It made me feel really good. It gave me a lot of motivation, and just it helped me recognize like, hey, just keep doing your thing. There's a handful of people out there that really do enjoy what you're doing and believe what you're doing. So I just wanted to, before we start the episode fully, I just kind of wanted to thank you, all you guys that reached out and let me know, like leaving comments, liking, subscribing, going to the Apple Podcast app, giving us a rating, leaving a comment. All those things are like huge. It helps us, helps get those ratings up, and it just helps us find new people to connect with and see if we can find common ground and, you know, have new listeners and stuff like that. So we really do appreciate it. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at bmsglass.com. It's going to be the best way to keep up on drops, giveaways, and everything we're doing with Bear Mountain Studios. We have a new mood mat on there. Really love this one, this cream colored with the bear face on there. It's the one I'm using today. We have those up on the website. And don't forget to sign up for that newsletter, though. It really is the best way to keep up with everything, because my wife is really on top of like sending out really nice newsletters she makes with all the updates of everything that's going on and stuff. So appreciate you folks if you would sign up for that. On today's episode, well, right now I'm smoking some Mandarin cookies. Super nice strain. Really enjoying it. We have a handful of pieces on the table. We only have one strain of hash on the table today, but I've been saving it. Sorry, I just coughed in the mic, folks. I'm really trying to be better about where I'm aiming the cough. We only have one strain of hash on the table today. It's Banana Pie, I think. Yeah, Banana Pie 14. This is from 710 Labs. So we're going to smoke on that today, talk about the terp. The pieces we have on the table are mostly 10 mils today. These are all awesome customers of mine. I got Definitely Bakes 10 mil Loki Lipstick Ghost Micro RBR. He actually has that here because he had a piece get stolen that we shipped to him, and we're remaking it, and we're going to make it to like match this kind of colorway. And then I have this clear 10 millimeter double diffuse with the Seriously Lip Wrap. And gosh, I'm going to break the kid's heart because I can't remember his Instagram right now, but just leave a comment down below, bro. I'm going to shred this 10 mil Seriously Lip Wrap. Appreciate you. And then right here we have, I think it's PJ5 Johnny or something like that. Sorry, I don't know everyone's Instagram tags perfectly. It's really a lack of organization on my part, but what can you do? I got people's pieces on the table today and we're smoking them. This one right here is Blue Dream and Citrine Fade. She's all UV and stuff, so she glows. She's all faded out. Cool piece. We're going to be sessioning all these today, and then we have Big Green right here. This is my piece. And we'll pull that out. We've shown that one probably in 2 other episodes at least. But I've been smoking it the last couple days because I cleaned it. And, when you clean a piece, you're like, oh, I got to get it dirty again. So that's where we're at on that piece. And let's get into today's episode. Now we do all the beginning open stuff. And like while we're smoking this joint, before I get too stoned on dabs, I had some people reach out with like questions and just wanted me to like touch on certain subjects. And this subject right here, I've talked about probably 2, maybe 3 times before in the past, but I can touch on it again because we do have new listeners or new followers on the Instagram and everything that maybe haven't seen each episode, which I don't blame you. That's a lot of episodes. So we'll be a little bit redundant here, but I had someone reach out on Twitch the other night and ask me how I feel about people making RBRs or pieces that look just like an RBR. And I feel a lot of ways. In my brain, the way like my head thinks, I'm like, fuck, that's part of any industry. If you make a product and you build a demand around it and you're not meeting the demand, someone's going to step in and create a similar or the same exact product if they can. Just maybe not exact, but very similar product and try to meet some of that demand and collect some of the money or the capital that's involved with all the demand in that product. It's just natural. How can you get mad at that? Don't get mad at the, hate the game, not the player, right? These people are just playing the normal capitalism game. But of course, in my heart, when I see things like that, like it's circumstantial. Most of the time, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll leave a comment. I'll like it. Like, that looks dope. Or if people are being nasty, I'll defend. I'll be like, they changed this and this. That's different. Like, don't rag on them for like making something similar. Like, this is a super simple design, so you're going to see stuff that looks similar. I mean, it's just inherently going to happen. So most of the time, I don't really get upset. I'm just like, oh, cool. But then there's other times where like people are building their whole like identity or their career around this specific design, and also like being weird or nasty towards me, even though I don't like know them or talk to them. And it may be because there's a lot of people out there that respect and love Bear Mountain Studios, so maybe they're leaving comments on people's pages saying, hey, this is like looks like a ripoff or a knockoff. I never engage. I never am on there hating on people or being nasty or sending anyone nasty DMs. I've DM'd one person ever about RBR stuff, and the DM was not mean. I was literally like, because this is someone that like came up to me, shook my hand, met my wife, met my 9-month-old baby, and looked me in the eyes and just told me they were going to do it. And I was like, okay, is what it is. But I've only ever DM'd one person, and I didn't even tell him to stop making them. I was just like, basically told him that like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not trying to start drama or anything, and I'm not going to post anything nasty. This is not my intent. It's like, I'm just bummed out. It's like a small industry, and I feel like a little taken advantage of. So that was like the only thing I ever did, and I regret ever doing it because I feel like I showed my hand. But you learn your lessons. But yeah, I wasn't nasty to this person. I was just like, man, dude, you like met my whole family, and you're being so weird about this. But 99.9% of the time, I don't care if people remake it because it's a simple design. It's essentially a doer bubbler with a drain on it. There's a million ways to make this design, but make it your own. So I love when I see people do RBR mechanics, but incorporate it into maybe their shape. I think that's super cool. Like, I love that. Like, and even people that make stuff that look exactly like it for the most part, as long as they're not being hateful towards me and they just play on their side of the playground and don't fuck with me, I don't really care. But when people are like making my shit and trying to engage with me in a way that like they want to get a rise out of me or they want me to post something to give them some sort of internet clout, I don't like that. But I'll never post about anyone. I'll just confront people when I see them. Honestly, at this point, most people would be confused because I'm so anti-confrontational. I'm not nasty to people. I don't engage, even if they say shitty things on the internet. I'm just like, I'll see it, but I just try to move on with my day, smoke a bowl, play with my kiddo for a little bit, and just figure out what's actually important, not silly, people being mad or angry. I'm like, whatever, But obviously, I wanted to talk about this a little bit in the beginning because before I get too stoned on taking dabs, it's going to be hard for me to maybe express myself in a way that makes sense. So, yeah, and who knows if that even made sense, really. But yeah, most people are cool about it, and most people like they'll even if they make an exact like RBR, they made it because they wanted to try the design out. They wanted to figure out the mechanics. They wanted to see if they could make it. Maybe it was a milestone for them. Like, hey, if I make this, if Evan can make it and I can make it, then I can get there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a million ways to justify it. So that's why it's hard for me to ever get frustrated with someone because I'm like, you don't know anyone's intent, but there's some people out there that make their intent clear and then do weird things with you and engage with you in a negative way, and then you're like, okay, I understand what this person's doing. This is a bad person, and they're trying to force me into their game, which I refuse to play. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on people making RBRs and how I feel about it. For the most part, it doesn't bother me, unless it's a situation where someone's trying to get more out of me. I'm like, fuck, dude, you're already making a fucking career off my design. Isn't that enough? You want me to do more? You want to drag me in and create arguments with me about stuff when I'm not even talking to you, or I don't say anything bad about anyone. I fucking make an hour podcast every week where I could talk shit about people, and I don't. I never will. So, that's that subject covered. Man, this is some good weed. This Mandarin Cookies, it's so creamy and orangey and smooth. The variety of flour we can get nowadays is just incredible, and I hope that doesn't change in the future. I hope it's like, one thing I worry about like corporate or like big business marijuana is the diversity in genetics and terpenes being lost, because they're like, oh, we're just gonna grow a mass production of this, this, and this, and these are the core flavors, and then maybe you lose genetic lineages to just like that overproduction and stuff like that. Because right now we have all this boutique cannabis. It's all these like small grows or people that really put a lot of time into the pheno hunting or the genetics and, you know, the breeding projects and all these things. And I wonder if in the future, maybe it'll just get better though. Maybe the capital behind the big companies will make the weed better. I don't know though, because I don't think money makes weed better. I think a really skilled grower with a lot of capital can grow incredible weed. But I think a really skilled grower with limited resources can grow incredible. I've seen people with just soil and water grow some of the best weed in the world. You know what I mean? It didn't take a bunch of crazy nutrients or crazy lights or anything like that. You know, it's just they knew what their plant needed. They saw it every day. They looked at it every day. They touched the leaves every day. They could tell what the plant needed. They knew if it was thirsty. They knew if it needed a certain nutrient just based on what it was telling them. Plants tell you shit based on their color, how their leaves feel. I swear to God, if you feel a leaf of a cannabis plant, you can tell, like, ooh, pH, a little hot. Ooh, she's overwatered. Oh, underwatered. Just the right amount of watering. You know what I mean? You can tell all these things just by, you know, touching a leaf. If you've grown enough, I guess, if you fucked up enough. You can only know all those things if you fucked up a lot of plants. Because you felt the leaf when it was too dry. You felt the leaf when it was too watered. And then you felt it when it was perfect. And then you get a range there. And you can kind of figure out, okay, now I know what a plant's supposed to feel like when it's at its best. And you can start, you know, monitoring its environment and what it's getting. But that little rant there is just, I wonder if we're going to lose all these incredible terpenes and genetics if big business takes over cannabis. But I try not to worry too much, because I've told people in other episodes, it's like, even if a big corporation took over the whole cannabis business, you're still going to have these like craft cannabis growers, just like you have craft brewers and small breweries and stuff like that. You're still going to have the people that do this like high-end craft style cannabis, because there's going to be a market for it, because there's people like me that want it, you know? And then the big business cannabis, they're going to offer this awesome little plant to the people that maybe it's more of just a weekend thing for them. Maybe it's just like when they stop at Walmart, they grab like a case of like some affordable beer, and then they grab like their little bit of like corporate weed, and then they go home and they have a fun weekend and what, you know what I mean? Maybe it's just like for those casual smokers, they'll be good for. I don't know. It's interesting to see where things are going to go, because when I started blowing glass, cannabis wasn't legal yet. And then when my daughter was born, a few years after I started blowing glass, like, shit was legal. She was born in a place where it was already legal. So crazy to see how quickly things change. Like, I mean, I could just, even, you know, when I was a teenager, I mean, I'm 31 now, but fuck, when I was like 18, that was like when I started smoking weed. That wasn't that long ago. 12, 13 years ago, sitting in a fucking Wegmans parking lot waiting for a guy that was supposed to sell me some weed. And he's, oh, I'm almost there. And he's been almost there for an hour and a half. You know what I mean? Like, and I just remember being so stressed, and like everyone in the parking lot knows I'm buying drugs. They're like, this kid's been in his fucking Cutlass sitting there for an hour and a half. He's getting drugs today. He's not buying a sub at Wegmans. They had great subs, so fucking miss Wegmans. But Wegmans is a grocery store, for anyone that doesn't know. It's like an East Coast thing, I think only. Upstate New York heavily. But yeah, hopefully, like we all say with all this legalization, hopefully all non-violent and just like cannabis offenders or people that are scared of getting in trouble or having their whole life ruined because they enjoy this little plant. Hopefully a lot of that gets figured out with all this legalization and regulation. What do you guys think? Do you think weed's going to be legalized, or do you think they're going to crack back down and make this shit like harder to obtain? I think the fucking genie's out of the box. I think it's already been open and it's unstoppable. They might as well just jump on the wave now and become rich and just let us all smoke weed. You know, I think that's the path of least resistance is almost always the path these politicians are going to take. Least resistance on their part, that is. They don't mind if we work hard. They don't mind at all. Work yourselves to death. Oh my God. Okay, let's take some dabs. It's getting weird already. See, you start smoking, you start really thinking, and that's where I just go. It gets a little dark sometimes. Okay, let's take a dab on this guy. And try out some of this banana pie I've been saving. I got a couple grams of this. I was pretty stoked. I haven't had 710 Labs in a while. I love how their boxes are too. And guys, I promise, after I get home from this family vacation, we're getting this third camera set up, and we're gonna have it set up so we can show off the hash, show off the consistency. I'll stir it, fuck with it. That way you guys can really see the differences in what we're talking about, because I know some people that watch this, like, we go to this same dispensary and it's like whatever, and maybe I'm being like redundant and this is all common sense, but there are some people that watch this that like live in a place where they don't have access to anything like this. They maybe have never seen anything like this. Maybe they've never even smoked concentrates, but they're interested, or they're just interested in the glass and how it all works. But either way, I want to be able to show off this beautiful hash and stuff. It's all, you know, I'm a medical marijuana patient in Colorado, so this is all medical legal. Oh, this is fun. I have not had any of their new packaging. Like it says, OGs make better OG. This is true. The more OG, the better. They got this cool little packaging in here. What's this? Stormy. Oh, in the fridge. Okay. This is cool. See, I love when people put time into packaging and thought. It's just it's all those little things that get me super hooked on companies that I support. Like whenever me and my wife get something in the mail from maybe one of our favorite creators or someone that maybe makes a specialty product, and we get like a little handwritten note, or you get like a little sticker pack and stuff like that. Like, I just love that shit. It just makes me even more like attracted to that brand. I'm like, oh, this person gives a fuck. Like, and even though sometimes we get stuff and it gets fucked up, like some of the stuff we order, things happen. It's just life. Some of them are handmade products. Like shit happens with me sometimes, but always take care of people, and that's the important part. So that's what I just love about like quality packaging and stuff. It just makes you even want to smoke the hash more. Actually, you know what it is? It makes you really want to smoke the hash, but it makes you not want to smoke it too quick. So you're like respectful of the jar. I would say the more time the company puts into like as long as their product's good, because you can't package a turd and make it good. You know what I mean? Like if it's bullshit, you know, hash, like it's great packaging means nothing. It almost just is more disrespectful. Should have just put it in a brown bag and said, see ya, try it out, hope it's good, instead of making it look pretty. But 710 Labs kills it. So like they don't even need to put it in a box. They could just sell it like this and like we'd all buy it still. But the fact that they take the time to put it in the box like this, and like the presentation and everything, it makes you respect the hash even more. Like when you're taking your dabs, you're very careful. You're like, don't want to smoke through it too quick, or at least that's my perspective, because I don't have like piles of this stuff. Like, you know, it's precious. So gotta respect it. And I love that packaging. It really helps just like reiterate that, like, hey, appreciate this. This is all special. This isn't just some random fly-by-night hash. Just take fat dabs of it at high temps. It's like, appreciate it and enjoy it. So we're gonna get into this banana pie. This is really fresh, so it's probably gonna be all crystally still. Oh, I love this. This is so cool. And then, fuck guys, I promise we'll get the third camera set up soon, because it sucks that I can't show you guys as good as I want to. So it has the regular top. Once I unscrew this top, then there's actually another top in here, and I love this. This is so cool. This is another little top that's like airtight, It's got like a little gasket around it. So when it's put onto that nice little like glass ceramic jar, like it just seals up, especially with the pressure of that top going on there. So that's so nice. And it has their label, also 710 Labs and everything. So there's 2 tops, and it comes in a box. I mean, don't have to do all that, but it shows how much respect they have for their product, you know? That's where we're trying to get to. We've been trying to get boxes for fucking years. And we have like a bunch of different options, but none of them are like consistent enough to like get this. We're working on it, but there's things like this where I'm trying to get to, you know? I'm only at like this April, like at the end of April will be my 8th year on the torch, 8th year with Bearmount, like starting my company with Bearmount Studios, like just doing all this stuff. It's year 8. And I'm like, oh fuck, like now I like, it's time to keep refining even more. Like this is just the beginning. Like I feel like this is where maybe my mentality might be a little different than some people in my other colleagues in the industry grinding, is that like some people don't understand how I'm making the same design over and over in different variations and still have passion and love for what I'm doing. And it's like, dude, it's because nothing's done yet. Like I don't, like everything's unfinished. Like when in my head, what the finished product of this, it might take me to year 12 to get there, but this is going to be something really special. And I hope that I can offer products in all price ranges and accommodate new collectors with the same amount of authenticity, quality, and respect. You know what I mean? It's just, I want to get there, and I'm working super, super hard. I'm putting crazy hours in, investing every bit of money, just trying to like make everything better, you know, but it's a patience thing too. Because I'm going to do all these things, but it's still going to take patience. It's going to take time. I'm learning so much every day about glass. In my eyes, I'm still just a beginner glass blower. I'm a little guy. I'm just learning. We need a torch. That would make sense. 1 second. Oh. Okay. All right, and shout out to Resin Works for sending me this awesome custom dabber. I fucking love it. I love the big scoop. I love how flexible it is. It's like really nice for like cleaning out the bottom of those like buttery rosin jars. He also sent me this really cool like roach clip. It's really fucking dope. And I like they like stand on their own, which is like really cool. And I'm assuming he's doing these on a lathe because they're beautifully carved. Super smooth. Yeah, I can see it. It's done on a lathe. That's awesome. That's cool. So check out Resin Works. Might be able to have him on the podcast here in the future. We'll see here. I was talking to him about coming on, but I'm going out of town like while he's coming out of town, so it's just like timing doesn't really work out. But there's like lots of people. I'm hoping this summer, once more people are like vaccinated and able to like move around and get out there and feel a little bit more comfortable, I hope that we can facilitate more guests that aren't just my homies. Like I hope like new people, because like I want to have people on here I don't know that I just want to like talk to and just like get to know them on here, so you guys can see like a mega authentic first time just like meeting someone interview. And like, because meeting someone the first time, they're gonna pull questions out of me I would never have thought of, you know what I mean? Because they're gonna ask things, I'm like, oh, let me answer that, and then you guys will learn even more about me just inherently through that, as well as a new guest. But one thing I was thinking about the other day, now that we've done 55 episodes, anyone that's watched this podcast since episode 1 knows more about me than probably, I mean, you guys are borderline my wife. Like, you guys know a lot about me. It's fucking crazy. I've, like, talked a lot on here, and really, I think if you've watched from the beginning, you got a good outline of basically who I am. You probably... It's almost like you actually know me. Like, if we bumped into each other on the street, you would know so much about me, how much, you know how I talk, you know how I say certain words funny, and I wouldn't even know who you were. I wouldn't know your face or how you talk or anything about you. I would just see you and be like, who, what's going on? And you would know, like, you would know so much. You'd be like, how's Bear? How's his, you know, like, I'm like, isn't that wild? That just blows my mind thinking about it. I don't know, dude. It's wild. Because I did that once at a trade show. There was a guy that I followed for years that was a big YouTuber, Token Daily, Paul Token. And he was one of the big guys that, like, when I lived in upstate New York, he was in Denver, and he was working at some of the bigger dispensaries up there, and he was showing off all the hash back in 2011 and 12, like, pretty early on for, like, the hydrocarbon extracts and, like, all the different stuff, or BHO, whatever you want to fucking call it. I used to watch his channel religiously, and I was actually at my first trade show in 2013 with my company, Bear Mountain Studios. And the day before, I had seen he posted that one of his cats had passed away, and I have cats myself, so like I was super bummed for him. I saw his post; he was really upset, and I saw him walking around the trade show, and I stopped him. And I gave him a hug. He didn't even know who I was. I'm like, "Hey, dude, I'm really sorry to hear about your cat." And he genuinely super appreciated, but he was also like, "Man, this is so wild. Like, I don't know who you are. You just like gave me a hug and said sorry about your cat." And like we started talking, then he got to know me and everything. It was like cool, but that's kind of the same concept I'm talking to you guys about, is like he was sharing his life and his experiences on the internet. And when you're sharing this stuff, sometimes you're not really thinking about who's watching or who's out there like listening. Like I feel like sometimes, like, is anyone watching the podcast? And then like fucking last week, you guys came out hard and just like let me know, and that was really appreciative. And it's just a weird thing, you know. This is the future of like communication, broadcasting, and connecting with each other is so foggy. I'm not really sure where it's going to go. Like, it was so controlled when we grew up, or like even when our parents grew up. Like, nowadays it's so open, like everyone can broadcast. So like who knows what's the voice of the future, who's going to be the person that in 15-20 years is, I mean, look at Joe Rogan. Like, that dude is like, he could say something and make a huge wave. He can like control the way. He's like a gatekeeper now. He's so big from it. It's wild. That shit scares me. I would never want that, ever. Honestly, when I had 100K followers, I thought I was gonna be really excited. I actually got severe anxiety and didn't post on Instagram for 2 weeks because I was so stressed out. Because I was like, this is weird. And it's not like there's 100,000 people looking at this shit. Honestly, if you look at the statistics, I hit if I'm doing a giveaway, I'm hitting more than the amount of accounts that follow me, but on average, like, I'm maybe hitting 67K to 70K accounts on average. Like, it's only like 2/3, if that, you know. So there's not like it's 100K people watching me, but like, it was the idea of the number. It was the idea of that, like, when I see someone, when I remember back when I just started my Instagram, or even like when I saw Elbow Glass or like Eugene and all these dudes hitting 100K, then hitting 200K, and I was like, that's fucking crazy, bro. I couldn't imagine like having that many people like looking at what you're doing or following your story. And like, I've worked towards that, and it was just like one of my little goals. And it's a social media thing, so it's silly and it's stupid. And some people are like, this is stupid, dude. Why do you even care? And I agree with you. Part of me thinks that, and then another part of me is like, this is the only way I can remind myself when I'm feeling really stressed, or I feel like really doubtful that I'm doing things right, or I feel like a failure. This is how I can remind myself that there's people out there that want to support and believe in what you're doing. So that number and having a social media account sometimes is a physical tool I can look at to calm myself down. Like, okay, like, you're doing the right thing. There's some people out there that give a fuck, even though you're being hard on yourself. But it's a double-edged sword, as they say. Whereas you get that, but sometimes social media can bring out the negative, where you're having a great day, you look at it and someone's being shitty on there. And if you care, and if you're very self-critical, you will read stuff people say and go, where are they coming from? Is that actually factual? Let me think about what that person's saying. Is that true? And then you analyze yourself. And sometimes you find certain things to be true, and other times you overthink and overanalyze to a point where you kind of go a little crazy and ruin your day. So social media is a fucking balance, and we didn't take the dab. How about that? This is this podcast. I'm not really sure what it is. It's me just trying to get a dab in and just getting lost talking. But I like it. Today feels good, though. This is dropping. Are we doing a Sunday sale? I'm trying to fucking think. I don't think I am this weekend. Not this weekend, no. But the following weekend, yes. So no Sunday sale this week, and the next Sunday sale is going to be April 4th for anyone. I should have said that in the fucking beginning. I am sorry. I'll say it again at the end, though. But the next... Jesus Christ, you were so on point. Honestly, dude. Like, we have a whiteboard that Ijah can write notes to me, guys, just in case I forget stuff. And he literally just held up a whiteboard and just said, turbometer. So he already knows I'm not set up. I'm going to grab it in 1 second. But let me get my point across while I forget about this dab. Is that this morning... my daughter, we were in the car about to pull out to go to school. She's 2.5 years old. She goes, Kavya, where's your coffee at? And I'm like, oh, my coffee. She noticed I forgot my coffee inside. I don't even make my coffee. My wife makes it, and then I just take it off the counter. But my daughter knows that we always leave, and I have a coffee in my cup holder. I'm like, how do you know this? Like, how? The other morning, we were walking out the door, and she grabs my hand and stops, and she goes, no, wait. She runs to the bedroom, finds my wallet, and brings it to me. She's like, your wallet. And I'm like, I didn't even, I would have got to your school, like, I need to get gas. I'm like, fuck, I don't have my wallet on me. But this little girl, she's like keeping me in order. And my God, it's blowing my mind. It's a turbometer. Yeah, bro, kids are fucking wild. Crazy. Sometimes I like forget, like it's like I had so much expectations, like when like I knew I was gonna become a dad, and like it's all just happens. Like you have all these ideas of like what you're gonna have to do, or like what's gonna be hard, and like you just do it though. And it all just fucking happens. It's just weird. It's weird having kids. It's weird watching another human grow up. But I'm just trying to fucking crush so I can do a good job, or at least be able to offer opportunities to this little lady so she can do even better than me. We were at 560. I don't want hot dabs this morning at all. Let's turn this little bad boy here. Try some of this banana pie. Oh yeah. Wow. That's really got a banana terp. However, that tastes like fresh banana with a little bit of the peel on it still, with a banana runt. I wouldn't call it pie. That's way more on the fresh, like tart, like real banana flavor, as opposed to that creamy, artificial, candied banana flavor. Oh, that should be called like banana peel or like banana runts. Wow, it's really, really good. I'm not saying the terp's bad. I'm just saying like I don't get the pie, but I get even crazier shit in there. It's very good. And how also too, I'm sure most of you folks know, but maybe you don't. So I'll talk about it. Depending what temperature you're hitting things, depending what pipe you're smoking, even the carb cap makes a difference. Even all the way down to like the food you just ate before you took the dab. This all can affect the way your body receives the terpene and how you taste it. It's crazy how terpenes work. Like when you're growing cannabis and you're crossing strains, or even if you have a room full of multi-strains, say you have like 6 or 7 different strains in one flower room, that flower room will smell, usually if there's one strain that's super strong, the flower room will mostly smell like that. But sometimes if you have a bunch of heaters in there that are super strong, the terpenes mix in the air and they make terps that are really gross smelling. Like shit that just like doesn't smell like, almost like baby puke or baby shit or something, like just gnarly smelling because all these terps are so mixed up. And I smelled that in a grow room back in the day once when I had like all these different strains I was growing, and then I was like listening to, actually I think I was watching because it was on YouTube, but I was watching this thing where a guy was talking about different terpenes they'd found, and they found like a tuna fish terpene, and like when they were talking about how foul it was, like, because, you know, obviously there's cat piss, like there's a cat piss terpene, that's a famous one, but the tuna fish terpene, like there's peanut butter terpenes, which are fire, there's so many crazy flavors you can get in cannabis, but the tuna fish one, and there's no terpene on the chart of the 88 terpenes, it's like tuna fish. It's like, no, it's a mixture of like maybe 4 or 5 different terpenes, and when they're blended together, they give off an aroma that's similar to tuna fish out of the can. And so whatever cross that these guys were growing gave off a tuna fish terpene. One of the seeds they popped, like that was the terp that was coming off. It was tuna fish. But when I thought about that, how gross that was, I was like, wait, like this fucking plant it's unlimited what it can do. There's no, if it can make a tuna fish terp, like, and it can make like burnt rubber and cat piss and then like oranges and lemons and bananas and cake and cookie. I mean, it's butter, like fuck, like what can it make? What flavors can it make? It's incredible. But that banana pie was definitely heavy on like really super fresh banana flavor. But we're going to take like 3 or 4 dabs of it, so let's really fucking work through this because I've saved this stuff for this episode. Been sitting on it for like 5 days. But I had other hash. But I smoked through everything else I have. Like I don't have any other hash besides this fucking banana pie. But I'm not complaining. This banana pie is fire. It's super good. Man, hopefully that rant in the beginning about like RBRs and people didn't scare everyone off from the beginning. You never know when to talk about certain stuff, you know? Sometimes I like to like tuck some of that stuff in at the end. I'm like, no one's watching this far, and if they do, they're on my team. But maybe if you throw it right in the beginning, and then you have a new watcher that watches it, scare them away, but who cares, right? At this point, it's like you can't win over every person, and why should you try? You should just try to be the best you can be and take care of the people immediately around you and just be the best you can be to the, the people in your direct life. If you try to help everyone all around the world and stuff, all of a sudden you'll notice that you are slacking with the people that you are directly affecting. And that can be even more damaging to the world than, upsetting someone that you don't even know. But I think when family and friends get upset, and it's so much worse than just someone you don't know, is because with family and friends, there's expectations. Like, we all have expectations for each other. Like, when one of your friends says something that hurts your feelings, or hurt your feelings so bad because you didn't expect they would say that. But when someone drives by you and gives you the finger and they're like, fuck you, you don't know that person. You had no expectations of why they would say that. So it doesn't really stick with you. But when you know someone and they hurt your feelings and you're like, fuck, I had all these expectations or these ideas of who you were, or at least the image you thought of me. And then when they do something shitty, you're like, fuck, it shattered my world. I don't know what anything is. That's growing up though, ain't it? That's your first breakup. That's all that. Oh yes, banana pie starting. It's been next to me in this heater, so it's starting to move a little bit now. So I can actually get it out of here a little easier with that. Because when hash is like really like shattery and cold, it'll snap and go shooting across the fucking room, and you're like, $6, $4, and you're just shooting money around the room. It's cool, but money that just you never get back. It just gets cat hair stuck to it, and you lose it. That's the worst when you're low on hash, when you're shooting it across the room because it's too cold. That was really more of an upstate New York problem, though. Nowadays, I literally, one of the reasons I wanted to live in Colorado is because I was like, I never want to run out of hash. I want to live in a place where I can legally go get it. I don't want to wait in Wegmans parking lots anymore. I don't want to make this shit on my front porch. Like, I want to fucking just go buy it like a normal ass person and go home and smoke it. That's it. So there's a lot of reasons I moved to Colorado, but man, that's definitely one of them. There's never one reason I do anything, just like there's not one reason I'm motivated. People are like, what motivates you to work? How do you keep going? It's different every day. Some days I'm motivated from happiness. Some days I'm motivated from anger. Some days I'm motivated from sadness. It's just a variation. It's a spectrum. There's never one motivator. There's always just my one ability to work, and then I have all different things that come at me that I try to divert them into motivation. So instead of getting crippled by bad news, I try to catch it and throw it into motivation and work. So that's the day maybe I work when I'm sad and I'm angry and I'm grinding super hard through it. Or some days I get great news and I just want to get out in the studio because I'm going to use all that positive energy I'm feeling to create something amazing. But either way, at the end of the day, the outcome is the same. I'm just making sure that I'm consciously aware that I can't let any of the emotions consume me, whether it's happiness, sadness, or anger. I just need to use all of them, convert them to energy to create capital, to create art, to build something that I can be proud of, some sort of legacy or at least foundation for my family for the future. Who knows? I'm just making bongs in my garage, man. You know what I mean? Smoking hash and shit and get high. That's so dope. Where's the turbometer? I like to say stuff and then belittle what I said because you cannot take yourself too seriously. It's a slippery slope. You start taking yourself too seriously, then you'll start believing what you're saying, and then all of a sudden you're being mean to someone that doesn't deserve it because you think you're right. You gotta be very careful with ego and taking yourself too seriously. It's still 720 degrees. I don't understand. Did I just heat it? I don't even remember heating it. You guys saw it. I watched these episodes and I'm like, oh my God, that was the most stoned I've been this week. Like, I'm never this stoned in real life. Like, when I'm doing this podcast, like, because usually on a normal day, I'll take one dab, like, in the morning or smoke, like, a bowl in the morning. And then, like, literally 7-8 hours later, smoke, like, another bowl or a dab. Like, I'm not just fucking slamming dabs all day anymore. I just can't do it. I have too many responsibilities, too much going on. It's too difficult for me to not have anxiety attacks if I'm fucking super stoned all the time while I'm trying to get everything done. But man, now I'm just like, I feel like I'm just benefiting more from cannabis as I get older because I'm finding how to use it that's most beneficial for me and the most responsible way for me. And I say for me because we are all different. We all require different things. I hate when people want to give everyone exactly an outline of what's going to work for them because I'm like, you don't know them. Everyone's different. But I'm starting to find what works for me, which feels good. I'm 31 years old, but I'm hoping that someday I can get this whole thing figured out and know how to do things. Whoa, watch out for me. I'm excited to smoke this piece. First dab on it. Oh, I need more water. I can tell I need more water, but that's okay. We'll take another dab. Still shredded, but she needs more water. For sure. Like I said, I haven't even smoked it. Like, threw a little water in it. Right before the episode, I was like, oh, wait. I told the homie I'd smoke his piece on this episode. I also told him that I might be too high and I might forget. So I make sure I let everyone know that there's possibilities of me forgetting because I'm definitely too stoned or too tired. But I didn't forget, bro. But I'm going to put more water in this and give it the dab it deserves. We're going to fix this. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, my body's like, bro, are you sure? Are you sure? You sure, bro? Sure you should smoke anymore? Take a little bit from your homie. Oh, hey. Watch out for me. Quality test. That's my buddy Mark's piece. Just testing out the quality, Mark. Just checking things over while she's here. That lower water level fucking hit me. I'll tell you what. That's why I like more water in my pieces. Just, it's a preference thing. Just because it's smoother for me when there's a little bit more water in there. Jesus Christ. I'll tell you what. Those terps are crazy. It is really a fresh banana. That is like a ripe banana. That shit has no brown spots. It's still a little green. You crack into it. It's a little bit, it's super banana, but it's a little bit maybe like sour, like I'm not fully, I don't even know how to explain it. Well, maybe I do know how to explain it. But what I'm saying is out loud is I'm too stoned to really break this down right now. Because that last dab just rocked my world. Wow. These 10mm mini double diffuse are really something special though. That, the size of them and like the narrow can, they really have a unique hit. And each one has like their own little uniqueness to them because they are all still like handmade. They all like have like, I mean, it's the same like design, but they all have their little variants. It's very minor. Like maybe one drain is a millimeter, even smaller, like super tiny, like wider or more narrow, like little things like that. Or maybe the return is a little bigger and the intake is a little smaller. Like they all have little variants. They all shred. But those little variants give them all their own little unique hit. It's just like a car. You could put like 3 different cars of the exact same model and like drive all of them, like floor them, and they're all going to have their different feel. They're all going to feel like the same like model car, but you're going to be like, oh, this one, they all just going to drive a little different. But man, this one shreds. I think the water level's right now. Let's get this dab right. Oh yeah, that feels way better. That feels a lot better. You got to play with the water level for each nail, each carb cap. That's why I like call the RBR like your daily driver. Like set it up with your favorite nail, your favorite cap. You just keep it on the shelf. It's like that piece that just like like that's the daily, that's at night when you're just trying to kick it and relax. It's just effortless, just function, shreds. Like doesn't even need to be the piece to bring to the sesh or anything. It can just be the piece that like, it's just that personal like chilling at home daily driver. At least that's how I think about the clear ones. It's like, they could be they're not. I'm not gonna say like $500-$600 is affordable, but it's not as much as like $2,000 or $3,000 people have invested into certain pieces of art that if possibly it breaks or something. Like the clear RBRs, my point is like if something happens to it, it's like usually easier to fix and it's like not as much of a loss, and it's just like that's why it's a good daily driver. It's like not as my point behind the whole thing is not as stressful being like, oh, I got this $3,000 crushed opal piece I'm grabbing twice a day, this is how many chances, if you do the math, it's going to break in 2 years. Like whereas like if it's a clear piece, it's like like you're probably going to sell it in a year and get like an upgraded model or the new version or this or that. Like it's just that's the one thing that's nice about I've seen with the RBRs, even though actually I haven't really looked at the market lately, but I've heard that some people are charging like a lot for them right now. But at least last year, people were just like, they'd have their clear one for a year, and then they're like, oh, I want a colored one now. Then they put their clear one up, and they would use that as like the down payment or like half the money towards their colored one. It was just like it retained its value so that they can continue to upgrade. It's almost like these torches that us glass blowers use, at least the ones I use, are the GTTs, Glass Torch Technologies. Those torches, like you can sell if you bought the torch for $2K, you can sell it for $2K like 10 years later. It's like they just retain their value. Great tools, they work forever. That's the type of product I want to make, is just functional, works forever, and retains its value. But yeah. We'll get there. We're working every day to try and be the best we can be. And I say we because it's a team. It's mostly me out here, most of the hours, but for 20 to 30 hours a week, there's other people out here helping. Got that really hot. Unnecessarily hot. But what can you do? We're going to have to wait a minute. Wow. I don't even need another dab, to be honest with you folks. And this is probably like close to our last dab. I feel like it's almost been an hour. It's about 55 minutes, Ijah? Shit. Is that about where we're at, 55-ish? No, we're good? Sweet. We can get one more in on the big guy then. Oh, we're good, guys. We're good. We got more time. Sorry. I'm super stoned, and like I've had episodes where I go like 20, 30 minutes over, and I'm like, fuck. And it's like we're trying to keep these like kind of like uniform right around an hour. We're learning every day. Well, I'm dropping hash off this dabber. This stuff is super good, though. I can already tell I'm going to smoke through this jar really quick. That's why I got 2 grams. Because I know the first gram just gets eaten up because it's so tasty. And then the second gram, we respect it much more. We take less dabs of it. We're like, oh, we got to save that. It's the good stuff. Put it back in the fridge. That's what I always get to. Because I always want to just indulge on 1 gram. I want to fucking smoke the whole thing and enjoy it. I want to really get stoned on just that strain. Because I feel like every strain has a different, like, kind of a different high. Like, it's all weed, right? But, like, okay, we got to count it out. 1, 2, 3, and we're on. I don't know, dude. I can't do this stuff when I'm too stoned. For some reason, I have to count it out. That might be some sort of a handicap. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. I'm sure we will. But each strain, I feel like, has a different stone. It's almost like if you want to really appreciate a specific strain, it's like just smoke a bunch of that night and just really figure out that high. I don't know, and that's what I try to do with, like, when I get 2 grams, Use one to just try to appreciate that strain and all the work that went into it. And then we'll have the second gram to just try and enjoy it for another couple weeks, like, in between, ration it out in between all the other dabs. Just kidding. But that's literally how I feel right now. Okay, we're ready. It's like 4:95. So that's perfect for me right now. I don't want anything hotter than that. It is a little cold out here, so the hash does not want to stay on my dabber right now. I'm taking my time. Look at this. There we go. All right, let's see if this water level's right. Oh, yeah. That's so much better. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that water level really makes a difference for me with how smooth it is. I like that little extra water, and I probably could even handle a little more. I probably should have played around with it before the episode, but I was just like, let's get it. Let's go. No way. Whoa. Man. We've smoked this piece before, so we don't really need to talk much about it, but I'll tell you what, guys. We have a huge drop coming up April 4th for Sunday sale. I'm going to be doing the triple doubles, like not these ash catchers. It's too cold. She ain't coming off. There's resin in there. And last time someone tried to take this off when it was cold like that, Cormac, I think he just ripped it apart and broke it. I had to fix it. It was wild. It was already cracked, so I mean it just lost the battle. But yeah. But on April 4th we're gonna be dropping triple doubles in clear in both 10 mil and 14 mil, so they're like less than half the price of like these big crushed opal ones, and we're going to be doing like 4 of each, so we're going to have 4 of the 10 mil and then 4 of the 14 mil, and so each one's going to be clear with a colored lip wrap. They'll be sandblasted. So I'm excited to drop those. We've only dropped like a couple in the past, and I'm excited to make a few more available because there's a handful of you that were asking if we're going to drop those again, and I don't know if any of you guys watch the podcast that are interested in them, but I wanted to talk about it on here because I have one right in front of me. And we're also going to be dropping 10mm mini double diffused in clear and colored, and micros in clear and colored, and I'm trying to have some honey jars there. Fuck, that reminds me. And this is perfect because only those that have made it this far will probably hear about this. I don't have it on the table, but today's Sunday that this drops, and I'm going to give away a honey jar recycler to some podcast listener. We're going to do it on the WE Podcast Instagram, so you got to make sure you're following that. It's going to be a quick giveaway, because if I leave it up too long, then, because I'm not going to shout it out on They Did It. I'm not going to promote this on my big Instagrams or anything. This is only going to be on the WE Podcast Instagram. It's going to be short. It's going to be on Sunday afternoon when no one's paying attention to that Instagram account. And if you've listened to this far in the podcast on this Sunday, then you're hopefully going to come participate. So you're going to have to go to that Instagram. I'll probably make the post. I would say, I want to give people a little bit of time to watch it. I'd say I'll probably make the post for the giveaway around like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then end it probably like 4 to 5 hours later. I'm not going to leave it overnight. This giveaway is not to get followers. If you want to tag a friend and tell them to follow me and check out my podcast, that'd be really dope. But you don't have to. This is just like an appreciation giveaway. So I'm going to be giving away a 14mm honey jar recycler, $1,600 value. And we're going to give it away on Sunday. My wife doesn't know yet. I can't tell her until Sunday. Because if I tell her ahead of time, she's going to try and talk me out of it. She does not like when I give away glass. Because there's always a bill to pay, and there's always, our house always needs work, there's always something broken. But I'm like, you know what, that's life. There's always going to be a bill to pay, and there's always going to be something broken, so we might as well just give shit away, because it doesn't fucking matter anyway. So, we're going to give away a honey jar recycler today, and I might be in trouble. Who knows? It might be wild, but we're doing it. I don't know why I like giving away stuff so much. It's fun for me. It makes me feel like there's more balance to the yin and yang in life. I get so many gifts, so many people support my work, and so many people reaching out, so many people trying to do work with me and do projects, and I'm like, this is too much. The shit doesn't feel balanced to me right now. So it's like I have to like give away and try and do more because I feel like so much. And yeah, I work all the time, but that's like whatever. Like a lot of people work all the time and don't get shit. So it's like that's kind of a mute point. Like, yeah, work all the time, great. A lot of people do that. But there's got to be some sort of luck or something involved. So like I feel like I'm getting all these gifts right now, people supporting, and I know it's temporary. I know I'm gonna look back and be like, man, it was awesome when people used to buy my work. Hopefully that doesn't happen someday, but it might, because everything is temporary. But while things are, I'm getting these gifts and people supporting, we're trying to give away and trying to do more. So yeah, but this giveaway is going to be a short one, just going to be for podcast listeners. It's going to be a honey jar recycler. It's going to be quick, easy. You're just going to comment. And I'll let you know probably on the post what the comment has to be or whatever. I'll try to make it a little bit more creative. It won't be dibs. I want you're going to have to comment probably something. Maybe like shrimp donuts. It's going to have to be a podcast thing so people can't just jump in that don't listen. Like, because some sneaky people are going to be like, oh yeah, I watch. Let me get in on this. I want it to be sneaky. So we'll think about it. But maybe shrimp donuts. That might be the way to go. And if I say it on here, then you guys would know and only the people that watch this far would know. Okay. You can either write shrimp donuts or you can use the emojis, a shrimp and a donut. It doesn't matter. Whatever one you want to use. But I'll know you watched this far. But that's how the entries are going to be. And on the post, I'll even say, I'll be like, oh, like, just make sure you do what I said in the last podcast to enter. Or some shit. I don't know. Maybe I won't be that vague. But we'll see. Either way, it'll be shrimp donuts because that's pretty iconic for the old listeners. And, wow, my throat is just not ready. I'm doing one more dab. Real quick. I get my liquid IV in. Also shout out to Patagonia, new sponsor. Really stoked. They're supposed to be putting me on top of a mountain here by 2021 for something, but you'll see me up there. My producer doesn't believe me. He's laughing at me because he's like, you're just lying. No, this is big facts. Patagonia, it's happening. Bear Mountain is going. God, I'm too stoned, guys. I'm not even gonna try and make sense of what I'm saying. Let's just take a dab and finish this fucking thing. So you guys should check out the giveaway. It's gonna be fucking dope. Alright? It's gonna be sick. We're gonna give away some shit. It's gonna be a honey jar recycler. Come on, you old torch. This torch is 5 or 6 years old. My first blazer. I didn't even buy it. Someone came and seshed with me and I didn't have a blazer and the sesh was so shitty that when they left, they ordered me a blazer on Amazon, and then the next day they're like, hey, there's a blazer in your mailbox. So it's like, next time we sesh, like, this has gotta be proper. So they just bought me a $90 torch because they had such a bad time. Maybe that's how you get things. Invite people to do stuff and then just make sure it's really unpleasant, and if they like you enough, they'll be like, if I'm gonna hang out with them again, this has gotta be better, so they'll get you something nice. I'm just kidding. That's just manipulation. But that's not what happened, though. He literally just hit me up. He was like, it sucked, bro. I bought you a torch. And I was so stoked. And I'm still using it to this day. 6 years later, I think. I think this is 2015. Summer 2015. So it's going to be 6 years this summer. It's fucking nuts. I've lived in Colorado for a long time now. It's crazy how fast time goes. I love it here, though. Me and my wife both agreed we don't think we'd ever move. It is a little bit, oh shit, well, we'll get that in a minute. We don't love the cold, but we do love like the low humidity and like the laws here, and just like we actually have some decent neighbors, which is tough. You can't pick your neighbors, and like, but we're worried, like all of our neighbors are pretty old. I'm like, damn, like hopefully you guys like live forever, because you never know, if you get new neighbors that move in, they might be terrible. They might not like that there's a glass blowing studio next to their house. All my neighbors right now think it's cool. And they're all like ex-military and police and all sorts of like people that like you wouldn't think would think shit's cool. But they do. They like it. I think they like that I take care of the property and that I just talk to them, honestly. I think that's what it is. I think if you talk to people honestly, but God, you gotta be careful, right? If you tell people too much, you're too honest. And you get yourself fucked because they're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna screw you over. I've done that to myself so many times. Been too honest with the wrong people. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, and we did it. Okay. That's fine. That's just what it takes. I can't help it. Oh, this looks perfect temp already. Look at that. Sweet. I love this piece. It's so fun. It's so unnecessary and obnoxious. Yeah, I know she's wiggling, guys. It's fucking... Look at the size of this fucking thing on the front of it. Where's the carb cap, though? Oh, okay. I guess we're going for the bubble. Oh, fuck that bubble cap. Fuck that bubble cap. Fuck. Fuck. What the fuck is that? What? Oh my. The fuck? Sorry. Okay. Well, that was really something, wasn't it? I'm going to figure out the mechanics of that because I have other bubble caps that don't do that. It might be the length this is them. But that's for another time. Don't forget to sign up for Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Just go to bmsglass.com. That newsletter is going to be the best way to stay up to date on all of our drops and stuff. I know I sound redundant for the folks that watch this week to week, but I have to be because you wouldn't imagine how many people reach out every day that ask, hey, when's the next drop? What's going on here? I'm like, sign up for our newsletter. We also now have a fax and question and answer page. I'm not even sure what the abbreviation stands for. I'm so stoned at this point. I couldn't even imagine what FAQ, or what is it? Is that what it is? FAQ page? So is it facts and questions page? So we have that on the website now, bmsglass.com. My wife spent a lot of time setting that up. Even if you're familiar with the brand, that might be a nice way to just go, because there might be some answers on there. It might be fast food. Prices are on there. The prices for all the clear on there. If you're like, what's this cost? That way you know what you're paying if someone's charging you a little bit more than retail or a lot more than retail. All this stuff's on the website. We're working super hard to make it so that you guys have all this information so it's easier for you to buy or sell or support, or at least just watch stuff we're building and doing. So we really do appreciate you, everybody who supports us and sticks with me on this crazy journey of learning glass blowing, life, being a dad, making a podcast, and just trying to figure shit out. It's wild. We do appreciate it. This is the What's Up Everybody podcast, episode 55. It's crazy. I'm super proud of us, and thank everybody who supports. Hope you have a great day. Oh my God. I can't even. I'm not even. You know what? Not even. I'm not. Later.